Good morning, or it may not be morning when you're watching this, but it's morning here. Good morning. Hi, my name is Shayla, and I'm gonna do a few videos, I think, this morning because I'm in New York City, and I'm with my son's school, his 6th grade school for the MMUN, which it's a conference, and it's the Model Montessori United Nations, and it's great, super great experience for him and his 6th grade class. And I may talk about a little bit of that in a couple of my other videos I do today because I have a little bit of time now before I go to a workshop meeting for the parents and for the teachers that have come. There's a few that I want to see today, so I'm going to try to get in some videos because I haven't in a while, and yeah, I'm missing my Saturday morning meeting chit-chats that I wanted to kind of get into a regular routine with, and I'm going to try to get back to that, but, life gets super busy, and that has definitely been my life lately before this trip and on this trip and maybe even after the trip for a little bit. Who knows? It's been pretty quick paced, which is great because I'm in New York, and New York is super quick paced. And I have to give a disclaimer now that I love New York, and so I am gonna hype it up as much as possible and be super excited about it and maybe even annoying. But I love New York. So I have to say this, we are on Times Square. The hotel and conference is all in the same building, and we're at the Marriott Marquis on Times Square, and look at the view of our hotel room. I wonder if I could, look at that, look. And so this morning when I woke up at 5:30 to go running in their fitness center, which is amazing as well, of course, I looked outside and it was maybe a little bit lighter than what it is right now. And it really messes with you. When you are used to like a sun up and it slowly, gradually comes up, and depending on what time you wake up in that morning, it is a certain shade of light or shade of sunlight, or because the sun comes up and then it goes down, type of a thing. It gets brighter. That's not so much the case right off at Times Square. Like, the lights are so bright all the time that this is kind of the way it was at 5:30 this morning when I woke up. Kind of threw me off. And so I don't know what that does to a person's. Maybe your brain gets used to it. Maybe your body, kind of adjusts. I don't know. Because I thought about, well, maybe if I shut the curtains tomorrow, tonight, maybe that will help and I'll wake up and it's still dark. But then you don't get that gradual, like the gradual sun up, sun down here on Times Square. So anyway, just had to throw that one out there. So this video that I'm going to do for the first is about traveling, right? Because I'm in New York, and I'm traveling with doTERRA. So what oils did I bring? How did I bring them? I hope that I know I didn't get everything, but I have my bag. These are my oils. So I think other people probably make, like their blends and things that they're going to use, but doTERRA is such a natural part of my life that my brain was consumed with so many other things before this trip, getting my son ready, making sure that he had his dress attire, that's correct dress attire, his blazer, his binder that he ended up forgetting anyway, at the school, not on this trip. We had to go back to get that. But just so many things, making sure the dogs have a place to go, making sure, my daughter has a place to go on the certain days and get to school and, get picked up. And there was just so much other things consuming me, and also getting myself ready, that putting together blends that would make traveling less big, I don't know, with all my oils, that just I had thought about it. I did. And I was like, okay, I could do these and these and these. And then I'm like, wait, that's just too time consuming. Like I can't, there's not enough time for that. Because now I have to repack because I actually looked at the chaperone dress attire, dress code, and we're not allowed to wear jeans. And I'm a jeans kind of girl. I like my jeans. And I had to change some outfits last minute. So, and as well as pack, you know, exercise things because there's a fitness center and looks right out over Times Square, which you think would be kind of exciting, but it was very overstimulating. So this was my experience in the fitness center before I get back to my oils. So this is my experience because it'll all tie in. I promise. Hang in there. I'm on the treadmill, which I don't like to do treadmill running anyway, but I'm going to take what I can get at this point because in Missouri, the weather has been super crappy with ice and snow and super frigid temperatures that I have not been able to get a regular running routine again. And it's been frustrating. I mean, I've been supplementing with yoga, yes, but it's just not the same type of exercise. And so it was committed. I'm like, I am packing 5 sets of exercise running clothes, and I am going to run every day that we're here except for the first day that we got here, which was yesterday. But so I'm on the treadmill and I, hit start. I'm not going to set up one of those workout thingies or whatever. That's not me. I just want to run. Just like, let me run, please. So it's already going to be a struggle on a treadmill anyway, because I get discouraged on a treadmill. When I'm running on the street at home or even wherever I visit, like if I have a certain distance, we'll say 3 miles, I know I can run 1.5 to 2, and then I have to turn around and come back. And so that's motivation for me. But on a treadmill, I'm just running and there's no real motivation except for that little number that seems to, like on the screen, that just doesn't seem to move fast enough for the distance. But anyway, so on this treadmill, there is a screen, of course, and they have a picture and you can watch this picture or you can watch movies or whatever. I can't do that either. But when you just start, you push start and you just start running, this shows a picture and it's like you're running on a trail. I was like, oh, well, this is kind of nice, I guess. Interesting. Like, oh, I'm running through a pretty woodsy trail. There's trees passing me and I'm going kind of up and around. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. But then I have I'm looking at the screen and then like behind the screen, I have Times Square with flashing, changing pictures constantly, flashing lights, pictures and advertisements coming at me, right? And then so that really kind of threw me off and it really messed with my equilibrium and especially with the trees, fake trees, pictures of trees. I don't know, it looked really real, but I know they're not real. And then the scenery would change. I was no longer on a hiking trail in some woodsy area. I was on a boardwalk. And then that boardwalk turned into like a rocky little path with some mountains in the background. I'm like, okay, this is kind of nice. There's people like mingling and they will see me coming. And so they move out of the way. And it was very weird. And it really messed with my equilibrium when I was running. So I just focused then on Times Square, like a building across the street that had like random lights on and everybody's blinds are up. I found it interesting because there's a building right here. I actually saw there's buildings everywhere, right? But there seems to be an apartment building or like an office building just directly across. And last night, most of the lights were on and there were some people walking around in there and things, right? But now all the lights are off and nobody's in the building. Like, it's very weird. It's kind of why I love New York. But you do your thing. You do your own thing and there's so many people doing their own thing and they're just here. I love it. So, treadmill, right? And then not only do I have all that going on in front of me, I have the people beside me running at different paces. The guy next to me, he got on, he started, and I'm going at like, what'd I start at? 5.5. I started at 5 miles an hour, and to really work up. And I was going to run at a 6 mile an hour. I don't really know how fast that is regularly. Normally, I get on the street and I just run, but treadmill, you have to run a certain mile per hour, I guess. So I'm doing that. He gets on and he starts at like 7.5 miles an hour. So he's like booking it. And I'm kind of just there and trying not to get distracted by him. And then the lady next to me is not running as fast as me. I felt like I needed to be one of those horses, in on the plaza. We have horses that are pull carriages, and which is kind of mean now that I think about it, because they're not in their natural habitat. Anyway, whole nother video. I feel they have these little blinders, right, so that they don't see all the cars and get scared. I guess that's what I felt like I needed on this treadmill, or little blinders, so I didn't see the people beside me, because that was throwing me off. And then you have Times Square, but overwhelmed, huh? Right, I was overwhelmed. I was so glad that I brought in my bag Ylang Ylang. Again, I've talked about this one before. I have been using it. It's kind of been the one I've been drawn to, right? Ylang is really good for being burdened, a little overwhelmed. Luckily, before I went down to the fitness center, I had already had my water bottle filled up the night before, last night, with some tangerine in it. Tangerine is another one for helping with feeling overwhelmed. And it also energizes, which is why I put it in there really last night, because yesterday was such a long day. When it starts at 2 o'clock in the morning, because you have to be at the school at 3:30 to get on the bus to go to the airport. And then you get to New York and everything is so fast paced and the kids are super excited and tired. I knew I was going to be tired at 5:15 when I woke up to go run, so that I had enough time to come back and get myself ready before I have to get 3 boys dressed in dress shirts and ties and slacks and teeth brushed and showered, and get them mentally prepared with some breakfast. I would like to say it was good breakfast, but I think I was kind of an epic fail of a chaperone when they pulled out Reese's peanut butter cups. I was like, how about a granola bar too? Yeah, I epic failed this morning on that. But they had to get display boards. They had to put those on the tables downstairs. They get to their committee meetings by 9. It was rough. But I found an amazing coffee shop. I treated myself to that this morning. The coffee shop that is in the hotel is Starbucks. Not a fan of Starbucks. So I went on a little journey and found a great coffee shop this morning. It's called St. Caldy's. It's amazing. Super small, like had room for maybe 4 tables. Had some amazing cranberry bread. Anyway, okay, back to my oils. So I'm sipping on some amazing coffee. I also packed lavender that I threw onto my scalp this morning because it's super dry with this cold, windy weather in New York. It's definitely doesn't have that punch so much. This morning it did. Has quite a bit of a kick, the wind here. Because I was thinking it's not quite like Missouri, Kansas City, but it is a little bit. I mean, it's not negatives by any means. It's in the 30s to 40s today. Upper 40s, I think it'll get. It's the highest, but the wind going through the buildings is kind of get you. I had to buy a new hat last night because I didn't bring a hat. I don't know why I didn't. I know why I didn't, because it said on the chaperone dress code that you couldn't wear hats. So I didn't bring one. I had to buckle down and buy one. I bought one in Chinatown last night. Super cheap, hand knitted. It's amazing. I also packed rosemary. The reason I packed rosemary is because, when you go to hotels, and I love to use like different kinds of soaps and things, especially if you go to a fairly fancy smancy hotel like ours is. They put out pretty nice soaps that are, eco-friendly or, good for your body, whatever. So, but my body tends to have some reactions sometimes. It's kind of sensitive sometimes. So I brought rosemary because rosemary is really good for down in the nether regions when you have reactions. And So I brought that just in case that might happen. I definitely did not want to be in New York and everything is, $10 cheaper, or I mean expensive, $10 more expensive. Rosemary though is also good for being confused and helps to kind of open up the mind. So I thought it's mind gives you more clarity of the mind, and I thought I may need that with all this crazy going on with MMUN. Lavender is good for calming, and when you want to be expressed and you want to be heard. So yeah, lavender is good for that, emotion-wise, right? Packed On Guard. Yes, the protective blend, of course. Going into cold weather, going into whole different rooms, being on an airplane with a bunch of different people, being in New York with a bunch of different people, constantly going, somewhat touching, like it's almost sometimes, people have run into me like I wasn't even there, and they just keep going, and I'm just so sorry. Okay, guess you don't care. So a lot of touching going on, and especially in this, and with the MMUN, like there's tons of kids. Like I think they said 1,500 to 2,000 kids. It's a lot of kids, a lot of germs. So I brought On Guard. I brought the toothpaste as well. I brought this travel size because you can't bring the whole toothpaste bottle or toothpaste thing. You have to bring under 4.0 ounces. So I brought the travel things, and then I also have a little container. It's in the bathroom because Stinson was using it for brushing his teeth this morning. I just got a little container and squirted our toothpaste into it, and I'm using that. But I double duty this last night with my mouth because I started to get a sore from all of the stress and anxiety and overwhelmingness of yesterday. So I literally go like this and then just put it right there where I started to feel that sore come on, and it's gone. It's not there this morning. So super works, super great. I also packed Slim and Sassy because, again, I put it in my water occasionally, the metabolic blend, to kind of help regulate my cravings throughout the day, balance those out a little bit, because especially when you go traveling, you're eating at different times, you're eating different foods, you're eating just random, sometimes whatever you can find when it comes to trying to get from one place to another, and you don't realize you get on the wrong subway train and have to reroute. That happened to us last night. So yeah, sometimes you're not eating when you think you're going to eat, or you're not eating with your regular routine. So I threw that in to throw it into my water, in my water bottle thing. I also brought Motivate, just in case the boys needed it, or me. This is an encouraging blend. Goes really well with tangerine and things, but you can't consume this. So I was just going to use it to put it on maybe one of my bracelets. I have my diffuser bracelet with me. I brought my wrap bracelet to throw that on there. And I probably should have used this last night though, because we had the opening ceremony at 7:30, and again we were up at the school at 3:30 in the morning. So we were tired. We were exhausted. For one of the boys, when we were eating dinner, he fell asleep at the table in Chinatown. He was so tired and exhausted. And all the walking around Times Square and being overstimulated, this probably would have helped during that long opening ceremony where they were just talking and talking and talking and talking. But towards the end, it was a little motivating. But yeah. I also brought Juniper Berry. And I brought Juniper Berry because Stinson has been having bad dreams again, my son. And so I didn't want that to maybe get in the way and hinder him from being his best self here at the MMUN. So I brought that in case he needed it at night, to just dab on him a little bit. Of course, I brought my Deep Blue Aroma Touch blend. This was already made, so I did not make this before the trip. It was already done. And again, like doTERRA is such a natural part of my life that I don't even try to plan ahead sometimes when it comes to bringing oils. So I just grabbed what I know I need as necessities and go. I have my all my sets of vitamins, the Lifeline Vitality Pack. I couldn't think for a second. Put those in a baggie. I also grabbed the last of our PB Assist, just in case, again, with all of the germs and things in New York City and the amazingness of it. Our bodies traveling, our bodies being in different areas, different things we're used to, may need some immune system boost. So I brought that PB Assist as well. I also brought in my bag these because, again, you can't travel with the big bottle. So I brought the samples that I have with the Deeply Rubbed in case, since I'm sticking to exercising every day in the fitness center, running on that treadmill and trying not to be overstimulated. Probably going to throw on some lavender tomorrow and the ylang-ylang before I go. Maybe I'll put a couple drops of it on like my towel, and when I'm, wiping the sweat, I'll be able to smell it then. So, that's really not quick. I'm looking at the time. Really not quick. Traveling with doTERRA that I brought. I'm trying to remember if I know I have in my purse my bag purse, my regulars that I always carry around. My Whisper, if I need it to help calm, Beautiful, if I need it to kind of give myself a confidence boost. What else do I have in there? I can't think. Oh, the Peace. That's what I used a lot yesterday. My Peace past tense blend that I already have pre-made and carry around with me everywhere, because the past tense is that tension blend that many people use for migraines and headaches. And I don't get migraines and headaches. I don't get headaches often. I don't get migraines at all. But the past tense just by itself is really, really strong for me. So I mix it with Peace, which is the reassuring blend. And that seems to help tons with headaches. I had to put some on last night during that opening ceremony. Like, I put it on my temples and on the back of my neck because it was late and it was getting even later. Like, the opening ceremony went all the way till like almost 10, if not, right before 10 o'clock at night. And okay, granted, we're an hour ahead, so we gained an hour when we came here. So, it was really 9 o'clock. But I got up at 2 yesterday morning, and I couldn't sleep on the plane because I was in the middle seat. It was rough. So, yes, God, that coffee is amazing. Love it. That's traveling with doTERRA. I'm going to do I know definite one other video, maybe 2 today. 2 is my goal. 2 is my goal. 3 is my goal, all videos. So hope you guys can keep me to it. New York series, right? That's what I should call it. The New York series. Traveling with doTERRA is this first one. Thanks for listening. Maybe you need to watch the next one, which is the New York series, learning about our emotions a little bit better from my amazing little book. It's a little one. I'm so excited about it because it's easy to travel with. See how little it is? It's the big Bible, right? The Bible of oil. Traveling with doTERRA. Thanks. Bye.